I became a Christian in April 2002, a little more than 4 years after injuries forced me to retire following the Steve Austin match. I made TV appearances for WWE for a little more than a year before dropping off the national wrestling scene. During that time away, Vince had called me up to headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut, because he wanted to bring me back as an on-air personality. I explained to Vince that I felt strongly that God was working on something in my life and that I was afraid of missing what he was trying to tell me. I declined Vince's offer, telling him that I didn't think it was a good idea for me at the time. I had previously called Vince shortly after I got saved and baptized, told him that I had become a Christian, and added that if he needed me to return to WWE, I would like to come back and help. Vince said he didn't have anything for me at that time, but would want me back when there was a spot. About a month later, he called to tell me that he had found a place for me to work as an on-air character. Even though I had told him I wanted to work at WWE again, I wasn't sure if I should, because so many changes had taken place in my life since I had left, including the double life-changing events of having a son and getting saved. My outlook on everything had changed 100%. As a new Christian, I was hyper-aware of my new status and feeling that I was not supposed to do anything that would be considered remotely suspect for a Christian. I was unsure how I could go back into a line of work where everything would end up in a fight, even if for me it was just playing a part. It intimidated me to think of trying to make those two worlds, being a wrestler and a Christian, coexist. But then again, as a new Christian, I was on fire for the Lord and felt that there was something I needed to be doing for him. I just didn't know what that something was. Perhaps, I wondered, I should try to get involved with a ministry instead of wrestling. I'd quickly made friends in my Bible study and in the church, so I began asking some of them for advice. As helpful as they were to me in beginning my Christian walk, none of them could give me the specific answer I was looking for. On the one hand, they could see that I wanted to do something public with my Christianity and that wrestling offered an unbelievably large platform. On the other hand, because WWE had a black eye image-wise, some expressed concerns about me returning to wrestling and facing temptations from the lifestyle I had been living. I know what the public perception of WWE is, and I understand some of why it is that way, but WWE is far from the den of evil it is portrayed to be. I think that stigma could be why my friends couldn't provide a clear answer as to what I should do. The typical answer was, "Pray about it, brother." Now, let me say that pray about it is probably the best advice we can give anyone facing any kind of decision. So I don't want to come across as saying that's not a good answer. It should be a part of every answer. But what I experienced as a very new Christian was that praying about it presented some difficulties for me. Mainly, I knew how to pray, but I didn't know how I would hear God's answer, especially to a question as specific as, do I take this job or not? How would God let me know? Would I hear a voice? Would I walk out my front door and see a skywriter leaving a yes or no in the sky? Would someone hear God's voice and give me the answer? And if the latter was the case, why were some Christians I trusted telling me I should go back to WWE and others were telling me I shouldn't? I would go to my gym and pray there, sometimes lying on the floor and trying to be still and quiet. I would listen to Christian music, hoping I would feel something that would lead me to the answer. Nothing produced an answer. Until one Sunday when I was in church and my cell phone rang. It was Bruce Pritchard, a producer.